Today we're playing Merfolk. It's been a while since we played Merfolk. Probably at least over a year, I think, since we swam with the fishes. Um, I think this. We're playing this today because I did commentary in round 8 of the Hunter Burton. Really, um, at the Hunter Burton, there was a thank you, Esther. There was a Merfolk player who was undefeated day one, 8-0. And there are a lot of elements about their deck that I liked in the metagame. I was even doing some commentary talking about how Merfolk is oftentimes a canary in the coal mine when it comes to unhealthy formats. Merfolk is a deck that really like preys on big mana decks, can prey on combo decks. Although my build is kind of tuned a little bit away from that. And it oftentimes feels like like in the scam pro tour, there's an undefeated Merfolk player day one, and I think in some of the Hogak events there has been some like good Merfolk like records. It's just like oftentimes pops up in formats like this. So I think it's a good time to play this deck for that reason. I also think it's a good time to play this deck to be looking forward post a breach ban to find Mox Amber Emry shells. Emry, notably a Merfolk. Tamiyo, not a Merfolk, Moonfolk, but a Moonfolk Wizard. So you can still play your full 4 Cavern of Souls, and if you have Tamiyo, just name Wizard, and if you have Svyelun, I think you name Merfolk. So this is kind of the only tension with Cavern is these 2 creatures, but if you name Wizard on these, you're pretty good for the most part. And like just being an Emry Tamiyo shell is I think really powerful. Being a Cavern of Soul shell is very powerful. Slapping a Shadowspear on a Svyelun is really powerful. I think the one card that I was kind of dubious on was Floodpits Drowner. This is a card that I've heard a lot of people say that they've liked a lot in Merfolk, and it's a card that I have been a little bit unsure how to evaluate. But I saw them play the Hunter Burton, and then I decided to build this deck and tested it, and I actually really like Floodpits Drowning. The fact that it keeps a creature like out of combat for like a full 2 turns is really, really good. And the fact that it can also function as removal is really nice. But I think just like moving in also on like the Moxen plan is like so much better than the Aether Vial plan, where this lets you cast your Svyelun on turn 2, and it lets you cast your Tidebinder on turn 2, and it lets you double spell on turn 3, and it just lets you like get heavier on the board quicker, which I think is something that's really worthwhile to do. I really thought I was going to be playing a bunch of Force of Negations in the main deck, but I decided to just sideboard them for now, trying to rely on Hexcatcher, Tideshaper, Drowner, and Tidebinder. I think I said Tideshaper and drag this one, but these 16 cards as my interaction, and then siding in more efficient interaction of the appropriate matchups. Weedrew becoming a mod. I'll get to your guys' resubs too. So I don't know if there's anything else. Not Spike liking Drowner. Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna like Drowner, but I've actually now that I've play tested, I think the card is pretty dang good. Surprisingly enough. Okay, so I guess one more thing too. When I was doing commentary on the Hunter Burton Merfolk match, I was talking about how like there's just this very normal problem dynamic with Merfolk is you are just at the mercy of your draws. You must draw an appropriate ratio of lands and spells, or you're screwed. And now this might sound just like normal Magic the Gathering. To some extent, it is. But when you think about it, it's like when you think about Boros, you could just draw your cards in like any order with Boros, and you're good, and you have that mana sink with Flage, and you have some like big card draw spells too. And if you think about any deck with Emry, any deck with Tamiyo, any deck with Mishra's Bauble and Fetch Lands for card selection, any deck with Malevolent Rumble, there are so many decks that just get Kozilek's Command. So many decks get like big library manipulation so that they can smooth those draws out incidentally, which is a big part of the modern format. Merfolk really just has Svyelun, just has this card as any sort of card advantage, and it's kind of slow too. And so playing Tamiyo Emry for 2 more sources of card advantage, I think is just a big deal. Also playing a Kiora kind of largely to like it's Kiora is good with Tamiyo because it flips Tamiyo. Kiora is good with Emry because Emry fills the yard for Kiora, and you can also loot away extra Moxen. So I think I wanted 1 copy there. All right, let's get in there. I'm a wizard here, I think. If I would draw Tommy, I want to be able to play Saga next turn. I might play the Eldrazi turns in a challenge this week. GG's. Excited to play this matchup. John with the 49, hope you're doing well. The third time we play, I never win. Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm. Oops. Do I like Gruul 8 Raker or the initial builds of Keen Since better? Probably the Gruul 8 Raker, but that deck's probably not one to, invest too much in because it seems pretty likely that a ban will happen soon. Okay, no Tamiyo. Bone Zone. I think I'm just gonna stone random here. Open an amulet match. We had an Ashiok game. We punted game one with Ashiok game two. Game three, we mulliganed to 5 to find an Ashiok, and then the Ashiok was under too much pressure. We didn't find a third land, but we also got just totally wrecked by the 2-mana 1/1 Death Touch. Spend 4 mana, reveal until you hit 2 lands. That card like blocks my Tamiyo really well, and also was just going to be able to pressure my Ashiok. Not that we even drew the third land. It was going to be on the Tidebinder game again. So next turn, there's a good chance I'm going to go like Mox Amber, make a construct, cast Emry, see what we draw. They do have a third land. It's tapped, though. If they have a Felia, it's kind of bad to attack with my Tidebinder. Not the biggest deal, I guess. Maybe I should get Shadowspear. Maybe I should get Mox Opal. Mox Opal's a bit better if my Emry dies. Yeah, I think if they have Felia, I need the Tidebinder to block it, so let's play around that. Bada with the 5 years. Let's go. I'll take 5 years of months now. Let's freaking go. See if they hit anything off the Overlord here. They hit a Witch Enchanters, and they've been struggling on lands. They're thinking about... I guess probably just tap versus untapped. Maybe untap just for the Emperor of Bones activation. Is Tamiyo an honorary Merfolk? It's like, what's nice about Tamiyo is you can go Cavern on Wizard, and it just casts everything besides Svyelun. But yeah, the go live notification was also Merfolk, Moonfolk, close enough. There she is. So probably gonna choose to... Probably gonna play Tamiyo instead of holding up Double Sync. Double Sync seems pretty nice though. Let's play the Tamiyo. They didn't have the Felia last turn, but they obviously have the Emperor to activate, so let's just pass. Yeah, I've been gaslit a lot. Part of the reason we lost game one is because I was trying to figure out if I had dealt damage 2 turns prior, and I had, despite my opponent and my chat telling me I hadn't. And although I still take the blame. Alright, so now we got a pretty good attack coming in. They're probably going to trade here, which I think is okay. It's a pretty good one. Probably not going to make a construct main phase to deal 1 more damage. I think the ability to go Tidebinder and Sync is just a little bit too valuable. Overlord will tick down to 2 here. But they're going to main phase Ephemerate? I guess maybe I should have synced, but this kind of works out reasonably. Oh, I don't have sync up. Okay, well, I guess we're making a construct. I do actually still have lethal, though. So that's good news. Okay, so up a game against Merfolk. With Merfolk against Black-White. Let's bring in the Dismembers. Let's bring in the Aether Spellbomb. Let's cut the Lantern. Tidebinder seems very good against them. We want to keep in our Drowners. I think the Tide Shapers are coming out. Then we can play like 2 Consigns. I think I want to keep the Kiora in too. Hexcatcher does get worse without the Tide Shapers not having the 1-mana Merfolk, but that might be okay. Went to my second modern deck, played your Greenstone Hulk deck with 3 wild, losing to a Frog deck. Kind of blast. Awesome, yeah. That deck is kind of tentatively on the docket for some time this week. I really want to play it again. Maybe I'll play it off stream, just see how it goes, and see if I want to bring it back or not. Probably not the first to say this. Kind of remarkable. Vial isn't good card. The Merfolk Saga deck. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit awkward with Emry especially, and Tamiyo. Like, you kind of just want to cast it instead of, like, wait to Vial it in sometimes. But also, like, your Moxen are kind of replacing Aether Vial, letting you power the stuff out faster anyways. What's they do with Kiora? Yeah, Kiora flips Tamiyo. She also, like, gets turned on pretty quick with Emry, filling up your graveyard. Also, like, loots away extra Moxen sometimes. Okay, opponent's on 6 as well. Will I play more Modern RCQs with RCs being in Houston? Well, I usually do whatever I can to not go to Houston. But I don't know. I'm very, very busy this year. I've made an intentional decision to focus on other projects, including the project of marriage, instead of pursuing the RC circuit this year, still allowing for a couple of other events. I'm going to go to Indy, I think. But, between being this game design thing I'm working on, exercising every day, prepping for the wedding, doing the stream every day, which is different from RC practice, wedding, novel, game design, exercise, stream. Just very, very tough. Very tough to also grind RCQs. Yeah, my eye does feel a lot better. Thanks for checking in. I thought it was a massive Floodpits Drowner hater. I was, yeah. Then I tested it, and then I think I was wrong on that regard. Of course, you can't really know how these cards play until you cast them. You could just make your best guess. Don't think they play that many Bowmasters. I think okay. Yeah, it's just like they're like it's just basically impossible for like me on a weekend to be like I have time to go play an RCQ. Okay, their hand is 2 Wrath Disguise and 2 mystery cards here. Kind of almost couldn't draw it up better. How long do you exercise for average? I try to do it. It kind of depends on like what day it is. Like yesterday, I guess yesterday was a weightlifting day, so it was about an hour 15 minutes, and then on honestly, I think we just played Tamiyo. Let's try to flip that. Yesterday was a weightlifting day, so about an hour 15 minutes. Today I'm going hiking, so it'll probably be at least 2 hours. And On my indoor cardio day, it's like probably like 30 or 40 minutes. So it just kind of depends on what the day is. Last indoor cardio, I just did the Stairmaster for 20 minutes and then did some boxing. So my parents' hand is just 2 Wrath Skies at the moment, so let's focus on flipping this Tamiyo so that the Wrath Skies can't steal it from me. I do think I want to be hitting my lands pretty bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play out the Opal also. Maybe this just makes some Wrath for 0. If you think you're busy now, just wait till there's spikelings running around. I mean, this is part of like why I'm going so hard now, is that I'm trying to get my eggs in a row for when little spikelings come, and I'm trying to work on these projects now while I have time, and I'm trying to better myself now while I have the time. It's certainly a big part of my thoughts here. All right, just hold up our mana here. Does this deck do anything fun Tamiyo ults? Yeah, you get to draw 20 Merfolk. And with a lot of Moxins, you get to play them. The Graveyard's a Witch Enchanter. Their hand right now is just 2 Wrath the Skies. I guess maybe I should have sacked a Bauble just to see what they're drawing. Our Spiking's on the way. I mean, I would like to have children at some point, but not for a while. Esther is also trying to make some music before we have kids, and so it's like it's not really in the plan, and for like the next like 3 years at the soonest, more realistically probably later than that. But yeah, it's something we would like to get done. So their hand is Wrath. They're drawing Ophelia this turn. So I guess they're just cooked. Well, this is a nice hand. Do I play around? I don't think I play around Thoughtseize. If they Thoughtseize me, I'm going to be pretty happy. Did I ask why you aren't playing any Vials up to artifact count? I mean, Vials are just pretty bad with the Moxin plan because you just dump your hand and the Vials have nothing to do. You could maybe play 1 or 2, but I think I'm not into it. Okay, so name Wizard. I'm a little bit unsure. I think I should play the Tideshaper. Makes the Hexcatcher a bit better. We have to play Starikyu. I mean, it's a. I'm not sure. I think of like X and 5. As far as 6-2 a few times, never into day 2. Well, I'm talking about the Pro Tours at the day 2. The bar is lower than that. I think my worst Pro Tour day 1 is 5-3, but my worst Pro Tour day 2 was the last one I played in Barcelona. It was just I just got so slaughtered. Yeah, 4-4 day 2s. I don't think I've ever 4-4 day 1. Okay, march my Mox. Pass. Don't think I want to show them that I'm on this Hexcatcher line yet. Should you play your black deck instead of Team Yogg? I think I should have played Seth's scam build. Seth top 8'd. I was actually even the night of deck selection waffling very close between the two, and I decided to go with Yogg because that's because we had spent so much time like working on the sideboard plans, and I felt really good about our plans, but I didn't feel very good about the deck overall, which is probably not a very good reason to select a deck, but it was very close. I thought Seth's scam build was really good. He wasn't main decking any Ragavans, so he was better in the mirror, which I thought was really smart. Kind of crazy to think about in hindsight, playing Yogg into Fury Meadow with Scamming Rhinos. Yeah, like we wanted to play the broken new cards, so like we were a Bowmaster ring deck, and we also I feel like we had like a lot of good tech, and we felt like we were playing really well. We felt like we were doing a lot of like cool things. which is all of this is just not a very good reason to select a deck for a Pro Tour, but sincerely we thought we could just outplay people, and turns out Pro Tour players pretty good. Okay, great to have a Lantern here. Interesting which one they target in this spot. What's gatekeeping Yogg out of the current meta? Just a bad Breach matchup? I'm not sure. So I definitely have heard people say that the Breach matchup is really bad. I'm like a little bit surprised to hear that it's super bad. Since I don't know, it seems like if it's super bad, can we main deck a Collector Oof? Maybe that's too bad with your Cauldrons. I don't know. Did we deny the life gain? Well, you can't sack your Tideshaper or your Hexcatcher if there's nothing to target, right? Yeah, you have to have a legal target to sack. Breach is awful for you. I definitely have heard that, but I would just kind of would guess, as somebody who hasn't played the matchup, that there would be like enough ways to make it better, but maybe that's just not the case. Okay, so this game is just going to be all about, can we ultimate this Tamiyo? If my opponent plays 4 1-mana spells this turn, that'll be pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and cycle this Lantern. Not a bad top deck. Okay. Okay, so the flying on Guide of Souls is a problem here. Or from Guide of Souls. Buffalo with the 1 year. Happy anniversary, Deadpool 32. Thank y'all. Yogg sucks versus Breach Storm, Eldrazi, Black White. It's a rough spread, for sure. I think I would have held up Sync for the flyer. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that was better. I kind of just like that this makes me not all in on the Tamiyo, and I'm still like somewhat likely to get to ultimate the Tamiyo. But I don't know, maybe this was worse. Didn't a Yogg Sam hybrid deck do pretty well at Urich? Yeah, I think we played against that. I'm a little unsure how good that deck is, I suppose. So I think we tap the Ocelot Pride so that they don't get any cats unless they have a creature in their hand. Misclick, maybe? Yeah, I think this is a very close choice whether to play the Svyelun or not, but I just kind of like that we can, like the Tamiyo's still ticking up and a huge problem for them, and then we get this, like, plan B in there. I'm going to try Selfies, Mono Black K, come in, listen up for them. I added Explorer's Map. Exploration map to chain Saga versus Control. Yeah, there certainly just are a lot of gamers that are very in on this kind of plan. Okay, so they wanted to save the energy to discharge the Tamiyo, so seems this line worked out a lot better for us. Although they're thinking about maybe only spending 3 energy so they can jump. If they had static, they'd first main and fly the Ragavan. I think so, yeah. Okay, they leave 4 energy in the pool, which is a very weird number because this still lets me like. Oh, I drew Minamo. All right, let's attack. I'm probably gonna Floodpits Drowner the Pride, but let me just go ahead and see what we draw. Oh, this is weird. This is pretty weird. I guess we don't. We don't need the Minamo untap this turn. Let me see if I draw anything off my Lantern. So there's also kind of a weird back and forth here, where my opponent is they're gonna wanna surveil here. I'm gonna want to Floodpits Drowner the Pride after to mess with their top card, but they could just say no to the fetch. Okay, but I didn't think they were gonna do that, so kind of a little bit of a vibe based decision there, but I feel okay about it. Obviously, if they put a Flage in the yard, it's pretty bad. They put an Arid Mason into the yard. Shuffle that away. Your turn. Samwise and Hollow One deck avoided Breach very well in the rounds, not taking their merits though. Well, at least for the Hollow One deck, weren't they main decking for Voidwalker? That's like the best card in the format against Breach, so maybe disagree. So Ragavan's coming at me. Guide of Souls is going at Tamiyo. So they're going to jump the Guide of Souls, and then they can put the Tamiyo to 6, loyalty. The one time I didn't know Voidwalker. Okay, I didn't know that. I was just thinking of Krista's list from the American one. Flips an island with the monkey. Thank you, Ragavan. Probably good to not crack the lantern. Although maybe do I have enough mana to go crack the lantern for a card? Make a Saga token, use Mox Opal, crack lantern for a card, untap, replay. I do have enough mana for that, so we might as well. I watched Friday's stream. I think they should ban Grinding Station, but there's never been another good Breach deck. Well, did you hear my response that there's like 2 other ways you can combo with Breach? There's Loam plus Artist Talent, and then there's Enhanced Surveillance plus Dragon Rage's Channeler. I don't know, you may have missed that, but I would say that that's certainly too risky. Also, just ban the stupid fucking broken card. Like, let's, you know, it's not that complicated, y'all. You know, let's ban one of the worst design cards of all time. Sorry for my profanity. I just very passionate. Awesome, Felix. Good job. Oh yeah, you can also combo with Tome Scour. That's true. Okay, so we have found another sync for the guide here, thankfully. Doesn't seem that important for me to... I guess I could cast the Hexcatcher if I just replay Opal this turn. See what we draw off this. Okay, it's a bit better, I think, to use. Can hold up the sync too now. Not that it's probably going to be that good, I suppose. I really think you should play 3 Surveil lands in red-white. It's just such a small thing, but I think it's correct. I know it's so easy to say that in these kind of games, but I'm pretty 3 Surveil land pilled for like these, for both black-white, red-white, and Mardu. My other thought is 8 Blast should be revisited. Well, the Marco Sharko deck is the 8 Blast deck. It may not be super obvious that that's the case, but like, we are playing a Lava Spur Boots Mox Opal Barbarian Ring deck, but we're just cut Shrapnel Blast for Monument to Endurance, basically, and it's been pretty good. All right, winning game 1 against Boros is nice. Pretty nice. I think I'm cutting my Hexcatchers. Play a Needle. Where with the 21 months? Thank you. Welcome back. What's the general sentiment about the bans? Do I think any other cards will get nerfed? I think the most likely thing to happen is Underworld Breach gets banned, and they unban between 1 and 3 cards. Or maybe unbanned 4 cards last time, but I think that's the most likely thing to happen. But I support a Amulet of Vigor ban. I don't think there's like many other cards that make a lot of sense to ban. However, I wouldn't mind K command going. I wouldn't mind K command going. I could not see them unbanning any cards. I think this is an interesting thing to say. I think there's probably close to 10 cards that you could have a conversation about unbanning. Not that we're going to have that conversation again right now. No Amulet ban. I mean, I don't think it's likely they'll ban Amulet because they haven't done it yet. I support it. Weren't you saying you want Lurker banned? You are so sorely mistaken. It's unbelievable. I don't know what fever dream you've entered here. I've never said anything. I've said many times Lurker should never ever be unbanned. Perhaps you're gaslighting me into unbanning your pet card. Of course, Lurker should never ever be unbanned under any context. If you could find a clip of me, well, no, I shouldn't say that because you're just going to clip me reading your comment. Bio the 34 months. Thank you. Welcome back. You are sorely mistaken, my friend. Yeah, Lurker. Yeah, I think of all the cards on the ban list, Lurker might be the actual worst choice. I agree. You should probably mulligan this. A little slow on the draw. His hand's nice. Could be even nicer too. Bio, happy 34 months. Please free Fury. My boy did nothing wrong. I don't think it will happen or would happen, but it should have been grief. I agree. Worse than Nadu? Okay, Nadu would be a worse than ban. There might be... Maybe Cloud Post would be worse too. So if I block like this and make it discharge better, that's okay. What are my opinions on Saga? I think Saga's pretty fine. I think I like Urza Saga existing in general. You can make a pretty good argument for banning it though. But one thing on that point is one thing is that I think Saga is one of the more targetable aspects of these combo decks. I think Grave Troll should never come off the ban list. I think once you're banned and then unbanned and banned again, you don't get to get I think you should not get another chance. Well, this is gonna be a pretty good turn. If this was game 3 and we were on the play, this would probably be just game over. But we're on the draw, so we get to keep playing, which is fun. Certainly the nut draw of the deck. Maybe Microspawn instead of Kick Command. Yeah, maybe Microspawn. One of those two, I would think. I think one of those two would be the... well, we build Opal, Needle, Aether Spellbomb, Opal. Interesting. I agree. One of those two would be what I would want to see go. Also, this costs 1 mana. This is such an absurd draw. Grave Troll was only given 1 chance. It was pre-banned and modern. That's true. I still think it should never be. I think if it was still unbanned and rebanned, and I think that is you're sealed forever. The 4th Hokage has unleashed the Reaper Death Seal and just sealed away. Golgari Grave Troll forever for me. Still looking for Connecticut recommendations. New Haven is a great city. The Yale Peabody Natural History Museum was just redone. And it's awesome and free. Cool. I do like to go to museums when I go to new places. Cool. I'm just going to copy this comment and send it to Esther. So we both have it. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, we're going to have about 20 hours for Connecticut touristing. Going to Connecticut for a wedding sometime. Yeah, I think Jitte is very safe to unban. I think Deathrite Shaman is a very interesting one. It's coming at a really bad time because of Ketramos. Before Ketramos was printed, I was really on board for a Shaman unban. But Ketramos decks feel kind of contained. And I think that the unbanning of Opal and Looting have kind of shifted my attitude on these cards where, yes, they're going to show up a lot, but they're also like containable to some extent, and they're really fun and iconic. And unbanning Deathrite Shaman would continue to take us back to Modern becoming more about it's like maybe the Breach deck is not a great example, but more of like a classic Modern versus Modern Horizons instead of just one or the other. I think that dynamic is something I'm interested in expanding. Yeah, Ketra's definitely on a big downswing. I feel like Flytrap is stupid good with Emperor of Bones. It's a thought for sure. Iconic there, not no. Deathrite Shaman's not iconic. I think this is something I disagree with. No combo, just Value Town. So gonna be a mana short of making a Saga token and channeling Otawara. We could channel Otawara and crack a clue. It's possible I want to bounce the Static Prison. It's possible I want to bounce the Guide of Souls. Like if they go like cast Flage, I can bounce Guide of Souls. I guess that only mattered if they had spent the energy last turn. Sounds like you've never played with Deathrite. I have played hundreds and hundreds of matches of Deathrite in Modern and Legacy. More Legacy than Modern for sure. I know that, and Timeless too. I played a lot of Timeless. Deathrite is incredibly good. It is also a 1-mana 1/2 that dies to removal and Wrath the Skies really hard. And if you know, like it's like Deathrite Shaman coming back makes Lightning Bolt better, which I think is something that I like. You know, Flage is a card that's in the format that I think kind of, you know, nerfs this a little bit too. Birthing Pod is not safe. Birthing Pod is super safe. Allows turn. So this is something that people comment constantly. Birthing Pod is not safe. Allows turn 2 combo patterns. Tell me the turn 2 combo, because it doesn't. Birthing Pod, it costs 4 mana to play and activate. You like the amount of people that say it allows turn 2 combos. I'm like, how do people keep saying this? It does not. But this comment is said over and over and over again too. Mox Opal. If you have a perfect Mox Opal hand, I guess like this is not a great comment. I think it's unlikely that you're playing mini Mox Opal Birthing Pod decks, and I think you know that too. But Mox Opal enables mini turn 2 wins too. So I think we boarded in the Pithing Needle, so I'm not the most worried about this. Interesting, they activate the Ajani before replaying the Guide of Souls. Birthing Pod is not getting unbanned. I think it would be an incredibly safe unban, if I'm going to be honest with you. I've even play tested Birthing Pod on this channel like years ago, but I feel like it'd be very safe. Was it not better to make a construct to attack Ajani? Well, I might get my Svyelun back, and I'm going to Pithing Needle the Ajani. To be fair, Mox Amber could be easily played in a Birthing Pod deck. I also disagree with that point. I think there's very few legendary cards that go, cheap legendary cards that go in your Birthing Pod decks. Like name the 2 legendary creatures you're playing. Wait, the needle didn't get in? Oh, the needle's in the graveyard. Oh no. Turn 1 on the draw. Bauble, Mox Opal, Opal, Pod, Ornithopter. Easy. Let's go, yeah. Twin wasn't a safe unban and neither is Pod. I feel like you're making my argument for me here. Twin was incredibly safe unban. Its card's close to unplayable. And I think Birthing Pod would not see a lot of play either. And when it does, I think it'd be cool and iconic. Yeah, I want to make a video about the ban list. I need to make my MH3 redo video first. So my plan is when the next mode of maintenance happens, so like power out, at least like the MH3 video, and hopefully the coming up video, and also I got to do the PowerPoint for the new set. So a lot of YouTube coming up. Inevitable soul crushing misclick incoming with me. I mean, I forgot that I milled the needle, but I think we're doing okay in this spot, depending on what's in their hand. There it is. Oh, they played the guide, right? Also, to circle back to the turn 2 Birthing Pod wins, you could chain if you could chain your Birthing Pod combo into Kiki-Jiki if you go sack 1 into 2, but your deck is very soft and disruptible to any creature removal spell, and your card quality is pretty bad too, and I think that would also end up being pretty fine. Okay, so they have a Flage, which they can escape next turn, and they kill my Tamiyo. 1 energy, no cards in hand, they'll fetch a Surveil. They're thinking about what to do with their Ajani. I would guess they end up plussing. How do you get the mana on top pod 5 times? It's a good question. It might not even worse. Or sorry, it might not even work. So I have a backup one of these, so I think I will be attacking. I think I'll be attacking with everything actually at the Ajani. I think there's a good chance they block this or get to play another one here. And if not, maybe we go Tamiyo Crack Clue plus Tamiyo. I agree that it would be worse than Neoform. I agree that their mini card's better than Birthing Pod. Birthing Ritual is better than Birthing Pod. It's like 2 less mana and triggers every turn for 0 mana. It obviously doesn't find whatever you want, but it's just... I think it is the better card. So going for the Tide Shaper. Svyelun as well. So Johnny down. I'm at 20 life. Lage is coming down. And my Aether Spellbomb is gone too. But we're going to have some big constructs. This is a 3/4. The most dangerous card on ban? Nadu. we had this conversation. Maxrin said you said Fiddlebinder isn't good. I called him a liar when we first fought. Well, I certainly have said Fiddlebinder isn't good, and I've said it's good again. We did pretty well with Fiddlebinder when Mox Opal came out not that long ago. Wouldn't like super recommend it. Chromox the most dangerous. I think it's Nadu for sure, but Chromox is high on the list of do not touch. I agree. Is Nadu better than Hogak? Yes, unequivocally yes. Oh, they target the construct? They top the Galvanic Discharge? That's so good. Wait, how does this have a damage on it? I think it's a visual bug. Yeah, it went away when I hovered over it. Good game here. Did I really just say unequivocally? Guess that's nothing to be ashamed of. Could go Tamiyo plus Kiora flip, but seems... Make a 7/7's pretty good against the Flage. Where do I get modern Boros Synergy coachings or modern in general? I think Misplaced Ginger offers coaching. I know Mason Clark offers a lot of coaching for modern in general. Probably look at Misplaced Ginger and Mason Clark. And then tell them I get a 90% finder's fee. $95. I'm gonna wait. I guess we can second clue, try to find our land. But I don't really want to play the Tamiyo here. One card I don't want to see. Not that one. Yeah, yeah. Hoping to avoid a Wrath for a turn at least. Does seem like the main thing we lose to is a Wrath. So I think we just chill here. You don't think it'd be hilarious if they unbanned Rig next week? Well, it will be hilarious in like a defeatist, nihilistic kind of way. Alright, let's keep this on the draw. As a ghost. Yeah, I know that... Wait, was she always a ghost? No, she was not. She was the 4/4. When this enchantment enters, choose Jeskai or Temur. Jeskai, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Creatures get +1/+0 trample haste. Wow, that card's sick. Not in our format, of course, but in general. Verdant Catacombs, huh? Four mana, 2/1, indestructible. Combat damage to a player. Exile top X cards of their library. X is the amount of damage dealt. Cast any number of spells, mana value extra less. So this is a combat damage villainous wealth. That is pretty cool. Just gonna hold the Mox Opal for now. Yeah, I haven't got to the. Let me get to the Ugin. People keep saying it. Dog Monk. Let's go. Okay, hold on. New spell. 5 mana. One or more tokens be created. Twice as many tokens. So +1 make 2 tokens. 0. Put a counter on creature control. On each creature you control, those creatures gain flying. Destroy target creature opponent controls mana value 3 or greater. Standard card. At the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equals the number of spells you cast this turn. That card's sick. Probably going to work on that one some. Sack, look for a dragon. Draw 3, discard card. Sorry, just got to get to the... Ooh. Look at this. Look at this mana cost. Top 4 of your library, 2 of them in your hand, rest in the graveyard. Top 4 instance. That card's pretty good, actually. Top 4, 2 in hand, rest in graveyard at instant speed. No, maybe it's not. It's close. There's so many like cool looking cards. I'm getting stuck on the way down here. They discard a Bloodghast? Uh-oh. Rediscover the way. Look at top 3. Put one of them in your hand. Rest at the bottom of any order. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature gains double strike. 4 mana, 4/5. If creature control entered this turn, would deal damage, deals twice as much. So if you Arena of Glory this, that's 8 damage. Renew. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a flying counter, a death touch counter, lifelink counter on a target creature. Activate as a sorcery. Okay, that card's pretty cool. Okay, here's Ugin. Okay, Ugin and Prince to Ugin's Labyrinth. Red alert. Red alert. When you cast a spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Holy shit, it's a Devourer of Destiny. When you cast this spell... Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Holy shit. What? A colorless spell? +2, gain 3 life, draw a card. 0, make 3 mana. So you can go play it, 0, play Mindstone, exile 2 things, the turn it comes down. -11, search the library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, and then shuffle until end of turn to make cast those cards and pay their mana cost. Ugin is broken. Ugin is actually broken. What the hell is happening over here? Ugin is unbelievably awfully designed. They fucked up with this card. Unbelievably poorly designed. I actually am annoyed by Ugin here. Ugin is like the new 7 mana card. Well, imagine a 7 mana card that exiles 2 things when it comes down and has 8 loyalty. Or has 7 loyalty. This card is much better than Card Liberated. And has a cast trigger too. Unbelievable. 9 loyalty if you +2. Also, the life gain is like such a big deal. Ugin replaces all his does. Well, you play 4 Ugins for sure. It doesn't replace anything. Like, you mandatory 4 Ugins, and then you go from there. In every build of Eldrazi, probably. Probably. Every 3 years they get a Beanstalk, I guess. We're only like 2 years away from Beanstalk, I thought. I think I'm just going to go main phase Opal Tideshaper here. We have a Grafdigger's Cage on our board, right? Yeah. Yeah, now I very much hope they ban K commands. Now seeing this Ugin, I do not want to play Ugin, make mana, K command. Get rid of your permanents. Good luck. Good luck. Whoa. Say flare, kill my Emry. That's okay. Push a little less okay. You just banned Ugin's Lab? Maybe. Lab, Myco Spawn, or K command would be your options for sure. Yeah, at least E-Temple doesn't cast it, but like I can't remember the last time I saw a standard card, and I'm like, what were they thinking? This is on a higher level than Ketchamo. What were they thinking with this card? I don't know. I would love to be wrong. I would love to like look at this clip and be like, I thought Ugin was good. No one plays colored permanents anyways. I'd love to. I don't know. I'd love to look back at this, but somehow I don't think that's gonna happen. Am I still fighting here? I think I'm not still fighting. Let's go to game 2. Let's go Cage. Dismember, Spellbomb. Needle and Frog honestly doesn't seem too bad. Doesn't seem too bad. Tideshaper seems like not great. They're pretty blue. Don't know if these Hexcatchers do anything either. Don't know if I want the Needle or not. Ironically, Ugin's gets worse the more mana share it takes up. That's true, but it's like it. What's messed up about Ugin too is it's kind of like Devourer of Destiny in that it's bad in the mirror because there aren't a lot of targets. But unlike Devourer of Destiny, it still just takes up, draws cards, gains life, and ultimates to win the game. It's not like it's awful in those matchups. Will Ugin be the first card to test? I don't know. There's a lot of cool cards to build around, except Ugin is like, you know, a wet blanket kind of, maybe. We'll see. The card is 7 mana, but it's also coming at a time where I kind of have to keep this, don't I? The card sure is 7 mana, but it's coming at a time where 7 mana cards are at like an all-time high, and see, I'm gonna look at my top card here. Okay, so maybe I play the Lantern to try to high roll a little bit here. Although maybe awkward sequencing with the Lantern having to exile the Bauble, not the biggest deal. Yeah, Ugin would be worse if it was 6 mana, which is kind of weird. So I drew the Tamiyo. So now I can kind of comfortably sack this and still play my Cage. Nice. I guess good news if you're an Eldrazi hater. Because maybe something will get banned. Well, they have Hurkyl's Recall in their deck. Well, I was going to tutor Mox Opal, but now I've drawn a Mox Opal. So I play Mox Opal. Yeah, I can equip the Shadowspear. We'll see. I'd love to be wrong about this, of course. I never want broken cards to get printed. Yeah, I guess I hold up the sink here. Is Ogitron coming back with this acting like Karn Liberated? I mean, possibly. So, like, one thing is Karn Liberated is currently not as bad as you might expect just because of the nature of Ugin's Labyrinth. It's way more likely, though, that you are just playing this in an Eldrazi shell and you can't cast it off Eldrazi Temple and that doesn't matter so much, or you're playing it in, like, Eldrazi Tron. Alright, it's a game 3 we go. Doesn't this card work in Anviltron? This card is insane in any deck that is big mana and colorless, of course. Any deck, maybe, you know, maybe not the artifact combo deck so much, but yeah, this, like, you're starting with 4 of these cards when you're building big colorless decks now, I think. What are they thinking with this card? Yeah, talking about the new Ugin. Okay, probably mulliganing here. Ashik not worth for grave hate. Yeah, it's just not like very effective graveyard hate, especially against a deck that can pressure us pretty quickly. We have some other forms of graveyard hate too. If we don't get too punished with putting this back, looks like we don't. So I kind of want to dismember the frog. Make them discard 4. Okay, they. Unfortunately for me, they. And then maybe I would get to exile something they discard for value. Yeah, I think that the plan hasn't changed here. I think dismember frog, then we can go lantern something for value, and then we can Floodpits Drowner the frog. Assuming they do discard 4 cards to save it. I don't think I've seen the Omen spells yet. Ugin 0 into Fleshraker. Yeah, it's just what the hell is this card? It's with that spoiled Ugin. Well, I know. There's a lot to digest. And no, I'm not trying to digest it all right now. Consigned Member is going to see some more play. The thing is, Consigned literally can't see more play than it already does. Consigned is a 4 of in like every blue sideboard, mandatory, and Consigned is I think they have a second flare. Hopefully not. Consigned is a mandatory 4 of in every deck that plays blue. And there are even decks that splash Consign because it's kind of like the only good card in these matchups. So, it's hard to say Consigned will see more play because it's kind of seeing a maximum amount of play as is. I guess we're going to go Hexcatcher Drowner. Rejection's back. This thing still gets it triggered, though. I'm going to play around another Consign, but upkeeping. Want them to have the fewest looks at one. Illusions with the 46. Thank you. Welcome back. Good to see ya. So I can't quite counter this with the Hexcatcher, huh? Kiora, like, making an 8/8 is pretty big deal here, so I think I'm going to cast this. Okay, so I've got a few different options, of course. I can take the island to Floodpits Drowner the frog. That seems pretty good. I could discard island and Tidebinder and keep the Tamiyo. Yeah, let's go for this one. Oh, forgot it has Menace. Yeah, I don't know if this block was good, but I'm kind of scared of the Satoro. And it might be easy for them to have missed the block, maybe not. I don't know. I also kind of feel like my top decks are on average better than theirs. I'm not sure if that's true either. They certainly have a lot of... maybe it's not true. Yeah, maybe not. That helps. Gonna be a tough one. Two Bloodghast with haste coming back. They can't attack very well with them here, though. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Down to 2. Yeah, New Ugin's pretty messed up. They just hit I twice. I mean, I guess they draw any earlier. It's not the most beatable. So I want to play this so my Svyelun has indestructible. But I don't know how many outs we even have. It's just like the tapper. Yeah, I think we're dead. Yeah, I'm liking this select too. Let's keep going. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna take a look at my top card to see if I want to play the Tideshaper turn 1. Or maybe I should look at their top card. I think it makes more sense. Hey Spider, how's it going? Yeah, I think against Murktide, it's just, 1 mana 2/2. So the Island Walk Lords are no longer good. I think you can still play the Island Walk Lords, but I think when you're playing like Urza Saga and you're not playing Harbinger, it's not where you want to be. And I think this makes us a lot better in the creature matchups. Like we beat Boros, we beat Black White this league. These matchups are much tougher when you play those cards, but that doesn't mean that those cards don't have their place. Inspired the 21 months fish. Fish indeed. I think I want the ability to maybe sink. Yeah, I'm gonna name Merfolk since they can't counter this Tamiyo this turn. There's not much reason to. Cavern on Wizard instead. A good point, Yendrick. I'll do better. We may get to Tidebind this. Do you know what the current ruling is on Tidebinder countering Eldrazi cast abilities? Does the card lose all abilities once it hits the battlefield? It should, yeah. So, Tidebinder pretty good against the new Ugin. We're gonna bottom this Tidebinder here. How sure am I about that? I'm 100% sure that that's how it's supposed to work. I'm also sure that on Magic Online it used to be bugged, and it didn't work that way on Magic Online for a while. No, this is how it's supposed to work. It was even like it was bugged on Magic Online. It was a whole thing. Well, this is pretty bad for us, the subtlety of the Bowmaster here. Yeah, the bug was that it did not work the way it was supposed to. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to work. I mean, if that's the case, then this whole conversation we had months and months ago when the card came out was wrong. But I don't think that's that makes that much sense, I guess. I mean, of course, I could be mistaken, but... Do you have any judges in the chat? The bug was that if it counted the cast trigger, it wouldn't have the abilities, which is wrong. Okay, so that's what I'm mistaken about. Guess that could be it. A well-known expert site for judges says that if it counters the cast trigger, But the Del draws used on the board does not lose abilities. Okay, so I guess it was the opposite then. It was that it would lose the abilities on Magic Online, but it wasn't supposed to. I'm a judge. I have no idea. Thanks for asking. Sure thing. So never mind about the whole good against Ugin thing. They discard a Spell Snare. Part of the conversation was wondering if it was a bug or not. Yeah, I think I remember that too. Don't think we're blocking here. Although the Svyelun is not that good into the Bowmaster, but maybe I can slap a Shadowspear on it soon. Seems like they're probably going to cast a Murktide, which is not so bad for us since we have the Sync. Is Planeswalker removal even good enough, Ugin? No, like, yeah, Vindicate isn't good against it. You're like 3 for winning yourself, maybe 4 for winning yourself, depending on how many non-land permanents and how many other spells they had. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be a good answer. All right, so let's go Sync the Murktide. If they have Force of Negation, we have Hexcatcher. Maybe a little sus how long I guess they're just thinking about what to pitch. Never mind. So I think I will attack with the Svyelun. Wouldn't Tidebinder not blank cards with cast triggers because they are on the battlefield? Yeah, I just had it backwards. I was mistaken. Because like I thought that that's how it was. I thought it was supposed to work this way and didn't work that way on Magic Online, but it was the opposite. It did work that way on Magic Online, but it wasn't supposed to work that way. Yeah, I agree this card's pretty cool. Look at the top 4, 2 in the hand, rest of the graveyard at instant speed and Sultai. Gonna be pretty obscure. I think I also, I played a lot of Shadow Prophecy, and like that card was like kind of fine. And this card this card doesn't lose life, which is a big deal. But doesn't seem too crazy overall. Okay, happy to not mill my Shadowspear. I'm pretty sad of the state of design at the moment. They give you some great, interesting cards and some broken shit that shadows everything else and breaks formats per month. Well, this was true of Modern Horizons 3. I think I've even just been like praising Wizards for their design in standard sets for a while, but I agree this is bad. Like this is like the first seems like big standard mistake since Up the Beanstalk. Although maybe they're trending in this direction. Like Ketchamos, I think was not a well designed card, pretty dangerous card. Still could potentially be like out of control one of these days, one of these formats. But I think this is the biggest standard mistake since Beanstalk. Yeah, the new Ugin is broken. It's like unbelievably broken. Like, I don't understand how they print Ugin, a better 7-drop than every single colorless 7-drop printed in Modern Horizons 3. It's better than every single one. I don't understand how they print Modern Horizons 3 with Ugin's Labyrinth in mind, very kind of constrained, confined, and then they just, a year later, are like, here's Ugin. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Wait, did they even have Revolt? I don't think they have Revolt, y'all. And they could have targeted this. Wait, what was Revolted there? Oh, they cracked a Delta. Let's talk with the Tamiyo, grow this construct. Good draw. It's a leftover card for this set. Honestly, it's like they were so like the 7 mana spells from MH3, Devourer, Null Drifter, the tapped MDFC, Not Worldbreaker, not Sire of the Seven Deaths. Breaker of Creation. I feel like there's like one more big one I'm forgetting, but maybe because it doesn't see a lot of play. Heraldgast, Ulamog, Emrakul, Kozilek. Like, all of these cards were played pretty safe because they wanted to like balance the imprintable dynamic. And so like this card is just so much better. I mean, it's not an Eldrazi, but still. Yeah, I think that they maybe just don't understand how easy it is to cast a non-Eldrazi 7-drop. Don't think I'm blocking. So the Murktide is a 6/6. So we're going to move this over here probably. So if I move this over here, this is a 6/6, attack 7/7, and then I have the option to like threaten the construct activation, and that that makes it to where they have to chump block if I attack with a Tamiyo. I don't think that that's that good a point anyways. It could also Fatal Push, and then if I attack with Tamiyo, I just auto-lose instead of having a chance to win. You will still just make this construct, just gain one more life, deal one more damage. Maybe they just say, okay guys, you can play 8 consigns in your sideboard if you want to. That would fix it, maybe. If you can play 8 consigns, I wouldn't be so upset. So I block like this. Yeah, just block like this. Seremus Rejection. Well, not countering the cast is just so much worse, like, because especially with this against this new Ugin, right? Yeah, there is Whirlwind Denial. I have registered a Whirlwind Denial. Looking at new power disparity between Ugin and Karn Liberty is hilarious. I know, it's unbelievable. I mean, Karn does go after lands, but yeah, it comes out. It's 3 loyalty after it minuses. This card has so much loyalty too. And it also doesn't have like any minus abilities besides the ultimate. That's also pretty egregious. I don't know. Just a miserable card. Alright, up a game against Dimir here. Let's bring in the Aether Spellbomb. I think I need the Dismembers to kill Bowmaster. I don't know if they're going to be on Oculus, but it's also not so bad against Frog. Let me not play this Lantern. Let me go down at least 2 Tidebinders. I don't know if I can get any more out of the deck. Like, I don't really want to play any Forces. I don't really want to play the Lantern. Honestly, like a Needle for Frog. Let's try this. I think this is a good time to test out the tech. Although Tidebinders maybe. I guess we just Tidebinder the Frog. I like the sound of that more. Yeah, they printed a very broken card. Maybe the worst time for it ever. Ugin, Eye of the Storms. Maybe I misread it. 7 mana, so imprints to Ugin's Labyrinth. When you cast a spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So a Devourer of Destiny trigger. And then it also has a second line of text. Like, literally, why the fuck is this here? This card would be, like pretty sick if this text just wasn't here. It would be very modern playable if this text wasn't here. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. And then it pluses 2 to gain 3, draw a card, to up to 9 loyalty. 0 to make 3 mana, so you can go play it, make mana, cast something, and then minus 11. Search your library for like this. This is also like, why is it any number of colorless non-land cards? Why is it not 1? Why is it literally just win the game? You could have just written win the game. Search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle until the end of the turn. You may cast those cards without paying the mana cost. It's like, we have to make sure you get your Eldrazi triggers. Ugin loves Eldrazi. It just doesn't make any sense. I think we keep this. I actually cannot remember the last time I saw a standard card that was this fucked up. I don't actually don't know if I like when I saw Up the Beanstalk, I didn't realize how fucked up it was at first. When I saw Valky, I don't know. It's like this one is like the most obviously like poorly designed mistake I've maybe ever seen. I don't know. This one is just obviously like what the hell are they thinking? Yeah, Oko wasn't as obvious, but also we didn't know what a food token was when it was printed. So like a big part of the Oko like confusion is like just trying to understand what a food token is. Once Upon a Time was pretty bad. Well, this was also like Once Upon a Time also like a little less obvious, I feel. Is this card better than Breach? I mean, Breach is just so an awfully designed too, but I think Uro was the last obviously busted standard card. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just don't understand. This is Dismember? Oh, they push, but they can't cast it, I think. Oh, a Saga. I don't think I'm playing this. I think it's a little bit too valuable. We're trying to distinguish between obviously broken cards and not obvious. Yeah, I think that this is easily the worst designed standard card since Up the Beanstalk. Not even close, and it's possibly worse just because like this one is one they spent a lot of time cooking. Like Ugin surely had lots of eyes on it and lots of revisions and lots of focus on it. It's a mythic planeswalker, not a draft uncommon. It's more understandable when those slip through the cracks. When a card like this slips through the cracks, it's like literally how did this happen? Like what was the sequence of events that led to this outcome? They probably cut this from MH4. Well, what's crazy is all of the MH4 cards are better designed than this card. It's like, sorry, MH3. Like, I'm like MH3's like biggest critic, but at the very least, they were careful with the 7-mana imprintables. They aim to make Ugin playable in EDH. Well, I mean, aren't all the other Ugins already playable in EDH? I don't know. The thing is, like, this card almost seems like it's designed for Modern too, but it's just not. Doesn't make any sense. Here's the conversation. This card's broken. Yeah, but it'll sell a lot. Yeah, I mean, this dialogue tree is always kind of interesting. Like, do we actually sincerely think that Wizards intentionally prints cards that are too pushed because broken cards sell packs? And like, sincerely, this is me genuinely asking, do broken cards actually sell packs? Because I would think that balanced cards and like cards that don't make people groan and make people uninterested in playing the format sell packs. Yes, I sincerely don't know. I don't know. I don't think about this stuff that much, but yes, 100%. Okay, cool. I thank you for the feedback. It's that to me, if I was running Wizards of the Coast, I would think the way you sell packs is to just make the game as good as possible, and you make the game fresh and exciting. And awfully designed cards are clearly not a direction to make the game as good as possible. All right, we're keeping this on the draw and the blind. Yes. We have Emry plus Kiora, which kind of go well together. Let's try this. Mox Opal or Island are both great draws. Wrong Mox. Svyelun is one of the badly designed cards talking about. It's like maybe the worst standard. I think it's the worst designed standard card I've seen in at least 3 years, potentially longer. And when new cards get printed, I try to keep a really open mind. I try to like keep everybody chill, and I try to like just say, let's wait till we cast them. But this one, I don't see it going well in any context. It's incredibly powerful, and the gameplay with these kind of cards is pretty bad in my opinion. But I would love to be wrong. I would love to look back and laugh at the fact that I thought this card was broken. Seems like they have a Force of Negation, huh? I'm gonna go for the Drowner on the Frog here. Could also cast Kiora, but or make a Saga token. Yeah, no. Earlier today we were talking about how good Wizards has been in Standard for a long time. I do think they have been good in Standard for a long time, but this is a big change. All right, let's play this game, huh? So my opponent's holding up counter magic, so in general, I feel like you want to be playing you want to be making a construct here. We've been boarding in the Aether Spellbomb a lot today. There's a pretty good chance that it's supposed to be in the main deck, just based on how much we've been boarding it in. So I could look up my top card here to see if there's like another Floodpits Drowner, then I could play the Amber, but yeah, I guess I'm not blocking with the construct this turn because I want to probably Tidebinder the Frog next turn or be able to. Okay, another Tidebinder. Okay, so not sacking this to draw land, just pass. If K-Command gets banned because of this card existing, is that better than the timeline where we have K-Command legal, this card doesn't exist? It's a good question. It's hard to say. I mean, K-Command is, in a big way, like a huge part of the Eldrazi deck's ability to exist. Like in a lot of matchups, like did you draw a K command early? You're in a very good chance to win. Did you not? You probably cannot win this game. Is how it feels a lot of the time. So that is a good question. Like if they ban K command on March 31st, it just might be fine. But it doesn't necessarily seem very likely that they're going to do that, of course. Stock up! I don't know what they're main phasing at main phase 1. Not sure what they're looking for. Probably sack the Lantern if they sack the Delta. Also kind of tempting to try to block the Frog, but I think I need to Tidebinder the Frog. Fire Design back yet? Well, this is the thing too. It's like literally one card. You know what I mean? It's literally one card with probably like a dozen other like cool build around cards for Modern this set, and just one of the worst design cards I've ever seen. So I don't. It's hard to feel like this is an explicit design change instead of an isolated mistake. I'm also probably going to go to game 3 here. Game 2, rather. Alright, I'm good. Game 2. Main deck Dismember. I'm good. Alright. I'm like Invincible from the hit show Invincible. Please stop. Alright, Aether Spellbomb in. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Lantern against them. Honestly, the Tidebinders are looking kind of nice. Let's keep the Tidebinder. 3 Tidebinders this time. Why no Blue Verge? So we only have 4 basic islands. The Blue Verge is better with the Dismembers. I saw the tech at the Hunter Burton. But I think it's better to have 4 basics for like Besagus and like the random Knight Errants. I think that is still more important. Good question for sure. Alright, I think I want to be playing a Hexcatcher this turn. Patrol land, we can go Sylvan plus Dismember next turn. And also getting a second Merfolk in play for this seems like a big deal. Ironically, New Ugin's gonna be pretty bad at the mirror. Well, so the thing is, like, compare it to Devour of Destiny and how that card is currently in the Eldrazi mirror. That card is basically a 7-mana 6/6. A 7-mana 6/6. Sometimes it gets a Utopia Sprawl, but it's about as close to 7-mana 6/6 as you get. This Ugin comes down with 9 loyalty, draws a card, or makes mana, and if it doesn't get answered, and Planeswalkers are hard to answer, it will win the game when it ultimates very quickly. So it's like, if you compare it to Devour of Destiny, which it does a pretty similar thing to Devour, it's actually like leagues better than Devour in the mirror. Fetches a basic island. Then Dismembers. I think we'll go ahead and sack. Land would be great. Ah. 12-hour stream if I'm wrong. Well, maybe tell me the metric that I'm provably wrong here, right? Like what metric gets hit on this new Ugin? Like how is it determined that I'm wrong on this? And if I Dismember, it just gets countered. Goldfish average number index lower than 3. Seems like a very specific metric. Why did they block? Why did they double block? Because you claim to start off as a 4 every time. I think that, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to commit to another 12-hour stream or 24-hour stream, but how about this? If I'm wrong, we'll just be very happy that I'm wrong and that Modern doesn't have a big mistake. that'll be the goal, is to be happy that we're wrong here. Because the Spellbomb. I guess so, yeah, that makes sense. I guess I should play the Amber first, because if they had removal spell, I could bounce my Svyelun. So how bad is it for me if they cast a Murktide here? It's a 1, 2, it'd be a 6/6, so it'd be a 3-turn clock. Yeah, I mean, I can't bounce the Murktide this turn anyways. I think we just do this. And they don't have it. That's good news for us. So seems correct for us to not. Oh, so we do have Cavern. You know, we don't have that many resources. Let's plan to just go Construct here, I think. Stock up. Do things are good? I think stock up is fine. But there's I'm lightly poking fun at the group of modern players who think stock up is like just the best card ever. There just seems to be a very small group of gamers who are like all in on stock up, and I just think it's kind of funny. I think it's over, but yeah, I agree that it's overplayed. I think that it is like good enough to see some play in some decks. I don't think I would play it in Dimir Murktide though, and there's people are really in on this card, but I could be wrong. I think it's kind of close. I don't think it's seeing like a drastic amount of overplay, but again, I do just think it's a little bit cute how in on this card some people are. Alright, so I need another removal spell here. Go for the throat. Like, if their last two cards are force blue card and they're chump blocking, it's not like that's a bad outcome for us here. Okay, going to game 3. I'm gonna send this one back. This was Mox Opal, probably could keep. I'm only playing 3 Ambers. We did get Stern Scolding, so important, I think, to Cavern here. No artifacts milled, unfortunately. Can hold up Sync next turn, maybe. Play around Bowmaster by not attacking. There's a basic swamp. Obviously, they just drew this. They didn't, like, cast it. But it's possible that... I don't know. I shouldn't be reading into Harbinger too much here, probably. So they main phase Consider, but then they put Darkslick Shores in the graveyard. This is a little weird. Because you would think if they're main phasing Consider, they want to land. So maybe what's happening is they want to fetch land. So they could Fatal Push my Emry. I think that's what I'm going to infer here. So now I need to decide if I still want to hold up the kitchen sink. I think yes is my answer. Well, no, because I can go Saga token, activate Mox Opal, cast the Floodpits Drowner. I think that's a little bit too good to say no to. I understand this part of exploring your decks, but this doesn't have any advantage over Affinity. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a kind of a weird deck to compare this one to. I would say this deck has several advantages. I mean, I don't even think Affinity is... Every time I like the mono blue counterspell Urza deck, maybe that deck is the better deck overall. But this deck is really different from that one too. We're playing Tidebinder, we're playing Floodpits Drowner, we're playing the Harbinger of the Tides, and we're less weak to Artifact and Enchantment Disruption. Like I would say there are several like clear advantages. Just an interesting one to compare it to, I guess. So I think I'm getting Aether Spellbomb. This is still stunned for a turn. Is Trickster not better than Floodpits Drowner? It's not. Yeah, I thought that too. It's not. The Drowner gets rid of something for 2 turns and has the ability to get rid of something permanently. That is better. I don't think I'm going to replay the Opal here. Or play the Opal here. Like, the two toughness is less relevant than it used to be. Like, Bowmaster is, I know we're playing against it right now. It's not as common. And I think the losing ability for turns is also just like the stun counter just taps it for 2 turns. It's twice the turns. The vigilance is relevant on the card. Getting rid of it permanently is relevant. I was not a fan of the Drowner for a long time, but I've become a believer. While they have to play Murktide into my Aether Spellbomb, that's pretty bad for them. Yeah, I was not a believer until testing it, and I now like it. Funny how that works sometimes. They have a Cling to Dust? They have a Fatal Push. Bummer. I was hoping they'd push the Emry, because I have backup Emry, of course. So I guess I should have tapped a little differently here. I think I want this to be able to be uncounterable. You're not discarding card. What is this block? The chump block? Deal. What did we lose to this league? Anybody remember? I don't remember. Oh, the Sultai Birthing Ritual Oculus. That's right. Right, GG to our opponent. So 4-1 this league, a pretty respectable Merfolk record. We 1-2'd our first one, so 5-3 on the day. Not the worst. So I'm going to pay out the prediction. So the backup deck today is